This was a Saturday morning Hustle Flashback episode.
Good morning. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means, the Saturday morning hustle. Of course, it's coffee and donuts. I'm all about it because that's how I keep myself motivated and energized. A little caffeine, a little bit of sugar gets me in on Saturday morning, gets me hustling and grinding. I'm very curious what your routine is. What do you use to make sure that your hustle and grind is as productive as possible? Do you eat breakfast? Do you skip breakfast? Do you work out before going to the office? Do you wake up and immediately grab the smartphone or the tablet and start working and then come into the office later? What is your routine? How do you stay motivated? And the answer is going to be different for everyone. What's important is you have something that works for you. You have a system that works for you, something that you can't make excuses on, and something that you can consistently hustle and grind with. That's what we're talking about on the podcast today. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means, the Saturday Morning Hustle Podcast. No hyperbolic hustle culture, just brutally honest, straightforward business advice and motivation every Saturday for entrepreneurs, business owners, or anyone pursuing success. You can't just work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and hope to become the next big thing. You gotta work smart, work hard, put in extra effort while everyone else is sleeping, playing games, or wasting time. Maximize bonus time to get more work done. This podcast is for anyone willing to come in early, stay late, hustle on the weekend to be truly great. Today, we're going to talk about coffee and donuts. I'm not talking about my t-shirt. I'm not talking about the donut I got sitting here on my desk. I'm definitely not talking about the big cup of gas station coffee that I'm using to fuel me up today. What I mean is we're going to talk about motivation. We're going to talk about systems. We're going to talk about process. We're going to talk about how you get yourself up to hustle and grind. What's your routine during the week? What's your routine on the weekend? How do you put that extra effort in? And how do you make sure that you can't give yourself excuses or be inconsistent in the hustle and grind? Because if that's true, you're working hard, but not working smart. We've talked about that before on this podcast. If you work smart, when you work hard, it is effective and efficient. So it's not about caffeine or sugar. It's definitely about what gets you focused, what gets you motivated, what gets you driving, what gets your blood pumping. And everyone's answer is going to be different to what that morning routine is. And if it's the same on the weekend or if it's different during the week. But the point today will be that you need a system. You need to recognize what works for you, what's beneficial, and continually try to improve that system as much as possible during the week, on the weekends, when you come in early, when you stay late, etc. Make sure you're not simply being busy, but you're being effective and efficient. That is the motivation behind the coffee and donuts Saturday morning hustle today. So let's start right at the top. What is your routine? And trust me, folks, I really do want you to tell me. Hit me up on social media, however you find those podcasts, make a comment, and let me know what your routine is every morning. Do you eat breakfast? Do you skip breakfast? If you eat it, are you coffee only? Is it donuts? Is it something like a breakfast burrito? Is it cereal? You having your Wheaties or the breakfast of champions? Is that your routine? Are you someone who immediately gets out of bed and gets into activity, or do you need to get up and kind of lounge around a little bit and slowly let your mind get going? Are you the kind of person who immediately picks up the phone or the tablet and starts working? I do a little bit of that, because I'm not really a great morning person. So a little bit of work to get my gears turning, a little bit of caffeine, a little bit of sugar, get that shower, get really up and motivated. And at that point now I'm into feeling like I'm ready to put work in. That's my routine during the week. It is different on the weekends. I take less time in the morning. I am not as slow to get going, but I sleep in a little bit longer. So those things balance out. When I get to the office every day, no matter what day of the week it is, it's all about the coffee. And of course, for me right now, it's gas station coffee. Full disclosure, I have an endorsement with gas station coffee. If you guys haven't checked them out, they are on Instagram as GS Coffee US and on Twitter, Facebook, etc. And there will be links in the description below. But I'm not here to sell you coffee. I'm not trying to promote the idea of using sugar or caffeine or any other stimulant to get you going on a weekend to get your hustle and grind. I am here to talk to you about process and systems and consistency. What is it that you can do to be consistent during the week? How can you be consistent on the weekends? Are they the same or do they need to be different? How can you adjust when you need to go in early, when you need to stay late, if you have travel or other interruptions? Of course, this last year with COVID, there were lots of things that took you out of a normal routine and put you back into a system that you probably didn't choose, but you were forced into it. How did you adapt to that? What did you learn from that process? And how have you applied that going forward to going back to the office, whether it's what you do in the morning before you sit down in front of the computer and turn Zoom on? Or is it something that you do before you get dressed, leave the house, get in the car, and get to work? So how do you approach your system, your formula? What order do things need to be in? And are you adaptable? Can you allow for change within that system because situations change? Or are you rigid? Are you hardwired? Are you 100% a morning person or 100% not a morning person? I can tell you I'm about 75% not a morning person. The last thing I want to do in the morning is work out. Not a fan of working out in the morning. A lot of people like it, but it truthfully is about the only time during the day that I have what you would call extra time or time that's not dedicated to something else. So with that, during the week, I often work out in the morning. If my dogs wake me up early enough for their breakfast, I have a little bit of extra time, I will spend it at the gym. I have to force myself to go. I'm not excited about it. I still need a cup of coffee when I get to the office in order to not be awake, but be focused and feel right. Now, during the week, I don't eat breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast person. I don't normally eat breakfast on the weekends either, although occasionally I will show up at the office, especially if I have a meeting or something like that, with some donuts to go with the coffee. It's my cheat week or cheat day, if you will. And honestly, when I talk about coffee and donuts, it's less about the actual literal coffee and donuts, and it's more about motivation, inspiration, and that idea of engaging the morning, to just embrace the morning, just grab the morning by the horns and say, I don't want to be awake. I don't want to be here. I definitely don't want to be working out. I would like to be sleeping, but I need to be working. I need to hustle and I need to grind. And by taking control of it yourself, you've empowered yourself and given yourself the ability to be more effective, to put more hours in the day than someone else. At the end of the day, hard work wins out. The two things you could control, attitude and effort. Put that effort in. If you get the attitude right, the attitude comes from feeling comfortable in your process, in your system, in the things that you do every morning, whether it's Monday through Friday, if it's on Saturday or Sunday. Your hustle, your Saturday morning hustle might be Sunday afternoon. I know some people that do that. Your hustle might be staying late or coming in early during the week. Your hustle might change from Saturday mornings to Saturday evenings when college football comes up, or when something else in your life with your kids going back to school or your dog's waking you up early in the morning. That's something that's affecting my life right now. That changes your process. But how do you add to your process? Don't throw away the process that's working for you. Don't throw away the benefits that you've developed, but add to it. Adapt and add to, continually creating a better system for yourself. Do not worry what other people's systems are. Do not worry that someone says your system is weird. They tell you should be eating breakfast. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. The most important meal of the day. Doesn't matter to me. If you feel okay not eating breakfast, having a cup of coffee, heck, even having a donut every day, good on you. If you feel right, your attitude is right, and it allows you to put that effort in effectively and efficiently because your head is on right. Now, if you're using any of these things as a crutch, if you're using sugar or caffeine or the idea of hustle and grind, the idea of must put more hours in, even if you're not motivated, even if you're not inspired, you probably are working backwards. You're working against yourself. You have to be in the right mindset. You have to have the right attitude in order to be effective and efficient. If effort is only half of the equation, that effort is not efficient if your attitude is wrong, if you don't feel right about it, and you can burn yourself out. Just recently I got sick, actually missed an episode of the Saturday Morning Hustle podcast. Immediately after that, went on a planned vacation, a vacation that was planned before that, because I had burnt myself out. I had worked too hard. So the guy telling you hustle and grind, coming on Saturday, all of that good stuff, I found myself pushing too hard and not paying attention to my body, to my mentality, and simply trying to clock hours. When I took a step back, when I took some time off to let myself get healthy, when I took some time off to vacation and refocused on what motivated me and what really inspired me to do what I do, since then, I feel like my work is much more efficient, much more effective, not necessarily more hours, just an adaptation to the situation around me. I reset my batteries, if you will, getting back up and going to the gym in the morning because the dogs went up earlier, not complaining, not being mad about it, not being disappointed in that, just simply working that into my process. Every day at the gym is not great. Trust me on that. I'm not in there making great gains. There's no Mr. Olympia in my future, but going to the gym and having a so-so workout is better than not going to the gym at all. Think about that for just a second. For those of you, especially who are over 30, who have to keep into shape and have your physical match your mental, have your activity match your attitude. If you can get into that routine, if you can embrace it and make it a part of something that makes you more effective, that makes you more awake when you're at work, that extends your hours and makes you more productive within the hours of the day that you put in, then it's not about staying up till midnight, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, but maybe going to bed a little bit earlier, adjusting, getting up a little bit earlier, giving yourself time in the morning to work out, giving yourself time in the evening after you get home for exercise of some sort, going to the gym, taking a walk, some other physical activities. These are also great ways to get your mental correct as well. I enjoy 30, 45 minutes, sometimes 60 minutes on a treadmill, headphones on, listening to music and thinking about my day, about my week, about the big picture, about all the things I'm trying to achieve and what I'm trying to do to get there. That's what happens when I'm at the gym. I try to multitask that time and that effort that I'm putting in as much as possible and be ready for the day. It's the same thing when if you follow me on Twitter, you know that every Sunday I'm telling everyone on Twitter to be making that to-do list, setting goals for the week, getting prepared. Do like what school kids do, or you lay out your clothes, you get your lunch all prepped so that Monday morning you grab it and you go out the door. You don't forget anything and you're ready to tackle the week. Professionals should do the same thing. You should make a to-do list. You should set goals. You should understand how those goals fit into the bigger picture of what you're trying to achieve. As you're trying to create any kind of success around yourself, everything has to be broken down to the smallest piece. What's the action that you take? Action 1, action 2, action 3 that build up to meeting goals, small goals, and then meeting big goals, and ultimately meeting the large goals of being successful. That comes from preparation. You do that on Sunday night for Monday. You do it on a Saturday morning when you're in the office. No one's calling you. No one's emailing you. No one's interrupting you. Things like that. When you find ways to be much more effective and efficient with the time you're putting in, it becomes less about the max number of hours you can put in per week. Now, if you have the energy, if you feel good, if you're motivated, if you're not burnt out, if you want to put those hours in, you are prepared, your attitude is right, you have made that list, you have set yourself goals, you've broken it down to objectives and tactics, you are getting it done. Don't watch the clock. Keep working. But don't forget your mental health. Don't forget your physical health. Don't forget to eat properly. Talking a lot about coffee and donuts today. There's proper ways to eat lunch and eat dinner. If you are someone who really relishes that great breakfast in the morning, that's how you start your day, for sure. Lean into that as well. And then, there's always Sunday brunch or something like that. That's an alternative to your normal routine that gives you that release, that gives you the ability to take a step back, to decompress yourself, to reset your batteries, and to go again, unless your Saturday morning hustle is Sunday afternoon. Then you follow that path that works for you, not the one that works for me. So you see how this is a circular idea of the system that works for you. the ability to maximize the hours in the day, the attitude adjustment that comes with feeling prepared, that and feeling like you are accomplishing things with the hustle and grind you're putting in, whether it's your full-time side hustle, it's your startup, it's your business, it's something you do after work or before work because you have a 9-to-5 that pays the bills, or simply that career path you're on. Whatever it is you're trying to achieve, if you are organized, if you are motivated, if your attitude is right, if you're willing to put in the effort, you can keep that mental and physical stamina up as well. You have a serious recipe for success. That's what I mean when I say coffee and donuts. That's why every weekend I'm here talking about hustle and grind, earn it, even on the weekend, and of course, coffee and donuts. That's all for this week. Appreciate you guys very much. Please chime in. Let me know what your morning routine is. If you eat breakfast, what is it? And little things that you have found that make you helpful that I can share with other people here on the podcast. And till next week, you guys hustle, grind, go do it, be successful, pay attention to your system, and don't allow yourself excuses. You can do it. Good luck. Thanks for listening. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment, leave a review, share with a friend. I would really appreciate that. Follow and engage on social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and this Saturday Morning Hustle Facebook fan page. All the information, all the past episodes, all the Saturday Morning Hustle, Entrepreneur AF, and Coffee and Donut swag is at SaturdayMorningHustle.com. See you next week.